some good conversation over the last several weeks. But basically, what our recommendation to the board is that we go ahead and move the new apartment complex on 54 Meridian to FES. Lafayette Park, we want to come back and pull that into FES's zone. Oakley Manor would be going to Spring Hill. We feel like at this point we can hold off on the redistricting of the South McIntosh Trail. We do feel like that's going to come in time, but at this juncture we don't have to do that. We feel like it's going to happen, we just don't know when, based on the enrollment numbers. But one thing that we do want to maybe make public is that we'd recommend that we not open Huddleston up for open enrollment or special permissions, and I think that will help us a little. We already have 3 of our schools that are in that, Mentor, Booth, and McIntosh. We'd like to go ahead and pull Huddleston into that.
Is there a difference between open enrollment and special permissions?
In name, but theoretically they're very similar. Sam, I don't know if you want to address that specific question. There's not a lot as far as actual practice, not a lot of difference there. We want to try to help and be accommodating, but because we do have some issues of crowding, particularly in the feeder pattern itself, we think we can help ourselves just by closing off that out of zone permission request. That would be our recommendation to the board.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion, further discussion?
I just have just a question for a future meeting is, I'd still like to look at the special permission numbers by school. Maybe there's no hurry, but I think it's something as we move towards that larger redistricting in the future. I know I, for one, want to see it because it ties into a lot of what we talked about in previous meetings, and I haven't seen it yet. And I'm not sure if that's something maybe that's in progress or.
I think it would be something we'd have to look at, Mr. Anderson, in order to try to rebalance or reboot, if you will. I know that we've gone through most of that for this upcoming year, and I can't tell you the numbers off the top of my head, but certainly we can share that data with you, maybe at a work session.
I mean, you know, we always, when we went through the last redistricting, you know, we made it a point to be very liberal with our special permission policy. You know, that has impacted lots of different schools in different ways. I think revisiting that would be helpful. I mean, not just in this specific instance, but more general.
I think even just as an education point, so we truly understand it, you know, when we're making these kind of decisions, I admit that I don't have a good handle on the logic and the process as it fits. I just want to understand it better.
Well, and I would say this to our board, it's critically important for us to have some clarity on what direction that we want to go in, because if we're trying to accommodate parents with any request they make, that's one direction. But if we're trying to guard against tipping our schools one way or the other, that's a different direction. So we need to have some conversation about that, and I think it'd be helpful to the administration as we try to live up to your policies.
I've received feedback over the past month from parents who would like for us to not have any special permissions. I've also received feedback from parents that want us to have more.
Yeah.
So we need to define that policy.
I think that's one of those things about like where you stand is
Right.
based on where you sit.
But the point is, we probably need to define that policy.
That would help. That'd help the administrative staff significantly.
All in favor, vote for a second, all in favor? All opposed, 5-0, okay?
Looking at 11B, we've been going through the process of looking at our